You did everything right. Good grades, a degree, a job that pays on time. And you're still opening your banking app on a random Wednesday with that small drop in your stomach before the number even loads. Not broke. Just never quite as far ahead as the math should say you are. There's a reason for that. It has a name, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. It never shows up as a bad decision. It shows up as a feeling. The feeling of finally having earned something. The first real paycheck lands and it feels like proof. So the apartment gets a little nicer, the car gets a little newer, dinner stops being whatever's cheapest and starts being whatever sounds good. None of it feels reckless because none of it is dramatic. It's just life quietly resizing itself to fit the new number. Then the raise comes. For a few days it feels enormous, real, tangible progress, and then, almost silently, it's gone. Not wasted on anything embarrassing. Just absorbed. Rent ticks up because you moved somewhere better. The car payment grows because the old one finally died. The credit card that used to sit near zero creeps back up because 3 unexpected months happened in a row, and the card was simply there. This is lifestyle inflation, and it doesn't feel like inflation because every single step along the way felt earned. Here's the actual cost, not the monthly cost, the compounding one. Every dollar absorbed by an upgrade is a dollar that never gets the chance to work for you. It doesn't just vanish today. It vanishes 10 years from now too because it never got invested. Money that goes into a nicer lease at 25 isn't just spent. It's a future number that will never exist. This was never about coffee. It's about the structural drift where spending rises in lockstep with income year after year, so the gap between what comes in and what stays never actually widens, no matter how much you make. Call them Marcus and you. Hired the same month, same regional insurance company, same starting salary of $51,000 a year. Same cubicle row, same laminated parking pass. Marcus gets his first paycheck and does the natural thing. He leases a nearly new Jeep Grand Cherokee on black, $480 a month. Pulling into the lot and it feels like evidence that the years of grinding meant something. People notice. People always notice. You get the same paycheck and sit with it a little longer. You're still driving the Honda Civic you bought used in your junior year, the one with the check engine light that comes and goes. Parking it next to Marcus's Jeep stings a little. Not shame. Just a quiet awareness that, from the outside, this doesn't look like winning. But that first week, you do 2 things Marcus skips. You set your 401k contribution high enough to capture the full company match. 3%, matched dollar for dollar, sitting in a benefits email most people delete unread. And you open a Roth IRA, automated for $125 every payday, 2 days after direct deposit, straight into a low-cost index fund. That's the entire decision. No fanfare. No confirmation that you did the smart thing. 2 years pass. Marcus gets a raise and moves into a 1-bedroom with in-unit laundry. A real upgrade. And it absorbs the raise completely, exactly like it's supposed to. Your raise splits differently. Part into the 401k, part into a high-yield savings buffer, quietly earning around 4%. Nobody asks about it. Nobody ever does. At the office happy hour, Marcus talks about the Jeep's new sound system for 10 minutes. Nobody asks about your index fund. The gap isn't loud yet, but it's compounding, automatically, every single payday, whether either of you is paying attention or not. Nobody hands you a manual for this. The closest thing most people get is an HR slide about the 401k match, sandwiched somewhere between vacation accrual and parking validation, while everyone in the room is thinking about lunch. So most people build a financial life on defense only. Earn, spend, try not to go negative, save whatever's left. And whatever's left is usually nothing. The starting framework isn't complicated. 50% to needs, 30% to the life you actually want to live, 20% to your future self. What changes everything isn't the percentages, it's the order. Most people save what's left over. Flip it. The 20% moves first, automatically, and everything else works around it. Above that floor, 5 forces do the real work. Compounding. Returns that earn returns until the math stops feeling incremental. Time. The one input you can never buy back at any price. Leverage. Not debt, but systems. Automation, index funds, tools that multiply decisions instead of hours. Ownership. A paycheck stops the moment you stop. An asset keeps producing whether you show up or not. Taxes. A Roth grows tax-free, a traditional 401k lowers what you owe today. Doors built into the tax code that most people walk past every year. Underneath all 5 sits one shift, thinking like an owner instead of a consumer. Directing money toward things that produce value instead of things that lose it the moment you buy them. Simple to say, hard to live inside a culture built to pull you back toward the visible scoreboard. Nobody warns you how quiet this part is. The transfers run. The match gets captured. Life just continues. Same cubicle, same Monday stand-up, same parking lot where the Jeep still looks newer than anything you drive. Nothing announces that you made a decision that matters because nothing does. In the moment. At a friend's birthday dinner, the conversation drifts toward who just closed on a condo, who made partner, who's doing a long weekend in Tulum. You say you're doing fine. You watch interests settle and drift elsewhere. There's no version of, I maxed my Roth this year that lands at a dinner table the way a condo does. You know that. You go home feeling something that isn't quite failure, but is adjacent to it. The pressure to buy the visible thing lives in every group chat. Every, what are you up to this weekend? Every Monday, the Jeep is still parked 3 spots over. And the moves actually building your future are so unglamorous, they barely register as decisions. A form filled out on a Wednesday afternoon that quietly compounds into thousands of dollars a decade later. It doesn't feel like thousands of dollars. It feels like a form. This is the lonely middle, not a montage. Just years of invisible correct decisions stacking on top of each other while the world keeps applauding the visible ones. It arrives on an ordinary Thursday. A calendar invite, no agenda, 9 a.m. By 10:30, you and Marcus are both carrying a cardboard box through the lobby. Same layoff, same severance, same Thursday neither of you saw coming. But when you get to your car and open your account, there's a number sitting there. Never announced, never mentioned at a single dinner. And it gives you something Marcus doesn't have. 7 months of runway. Marcus takes the first offer that comes. He has to. The Jeep payment is due in 11 days, the rent hits on the 1st, and the credit card that started as an emergency backup has quietly become the thing bridging the gap between what life costs and what he earns. He tells himself it's temporary. It might be. But he had no room to find out. You take 7 months. Not 7 months of panic, 7 months of actual choice. You turn down the first offer because the role has no real ceiling. You pass on the second because something about the final interview doesn't sit right. You consult no one because no one around you has ever been in a position to make that call. The job you eventually take pays 11% more than the one you lost. A few months in, on an ordinary Sunday, you open your investment account for no particular reason and notice something. Your contributions that month totaled $310. The portfolio grew by more than that on its own. No decision, no action. Just the compounding that's been running quietly since you were 23. That's the tipping point. Not a number on a screen, a ratio. The moment your money starts doing more work than you are. Once that ratio flips, it doesn't flip back. 8 months later, your phone rings on a Tuesday night. A parent is in the hospital 2 states away and nobody knows yet what it is. You book the next flight, not the cheapest one. You reserve a hotel 4 blocks from the hospital, open-ended, because you don't know how long you'll need it. You don't check your account balance before doing any of it. The thought doesn't occur to you. You spend 5 days in a waiting room, fully present, because the logistics never touch you. The money handles every problem money can handle quietly, in the exact moment you needed to be somewhere else entirely. That is what the quiet transfers were always for. Not the balance, not the raise, not the 7 months. The freedom to show up completely when it counts because the floor held, built on 100 ordinary paydays nobody ever saw. You didn't out-earn Marcus. You didn't out-hustle him. You just understood earlier that the decisions nobody sees are the only ones that actually compound. Pay attention this week to the moment the upgrade presents itself. The thing that would make today feel more like winning. You'll feel the pull. That's the trap. Still running. Still built to catch the people trying hardest to get ahead. Knowing that doesn't make today easier. The transfer still runs quietly, either way. The only question that belongs to you now, when your floor gets tested, will it hold?